Good morning, it's Robert Hunt. I'm looking forward to seeing you all on August 27th as we have our next session together. And I wanted to remind you about a couple things to get you ready for our time. First of all, you should be pretty much done reading the book Nobody Cares Until You Do. And that's a book we're going to go through when we get together in November. But I want you to have time to have read the book and start talking about it amongst yourselves because it's going to be something that we're going to bring into as a piece of our culture as we go forward. Had a wonderful conversation with Randy recently, talking about his passion and vision for your team and the way he sees things going and his excitement about the future. And so I just think there's some pieces we need to add to the equation to do it well. In our first session we had together back a couple months ago, we talked about two things. We talked about understanding communication better through DISC, and we talked about how everybody's different. So we learned to meet people the way they are, to treat them the way they need to be treated, and to work with them in an understanding way. And we have the DISC on our cards now, so we can be in meetings and look across the table and see what someone's needs are and help them have their needs met. And by the way we communicate, we have the opportunity to enable them to be their best, or we can crush them, which we don't want to do. And so we're understanding each other better through the communication that we understood through DISC. So hopefully you're keeping that on top of your mind as you work together with each other. Then we also talked about the idea of trust. Trust is the foundation of all good teams. And we can easily crush trust without really thinking about it. It takes intentional effort to build it up. So hopefully you're going through one of those 13 things that I gave you that were based on the book Speed of Trust by Covey, and take one of those things every time you get together and talk about it. How can we try and encourage each other to have more trust by doing things like talking straight or righting wrongs or delivering results so people count on us? And there's 13 things. You can go through that list, pick one every time you get together and continue the dialogue. As we're working intentionally to create a place where people feel safe, where they can be themselves, and that we trust one another based not only on our character, but on our competency. And we don't want to assume that someone's character is in doubt when they do something we don't like. We want to ask them, we want to go to them, and we want to speak truth and love. We want to care for one another so we can free each other up to be our best. So that's what we did last time. This time we get together, we're going to take this principle of trust and we're going to use it to create a system of delegation. The only way ERW is really going to scale and find efficiencies in the unity of everyone coming together is through trust. And in the process of trust, we learn to delegate. And delegation is not easy. Effective delegation requires very specific things, clear and compelling communications, tools, training, and then accountability can be created as a result of that. So we're going to look at that. We're going to talk about accountability early on before we get to the topic from the book. We're going to talk about that idea of accountability, that if I'm going to delegate to you, I've got to trust you. And if I trust you, but I haven't equipped you to take on the task, I really can't delegate well. And then we get micromanaging moments and we get things where I'm still kind of doing the work or I'm not setting you up to win. So we're going to talk about delegation. And one of the tools that we're going to create that day is called a water line. A boat sits on the water, and as long as the boat's there safely, everything's good. And if you puncture a hole at the top of the boat above the water line, it's no big deal. But if you puncture a hole below the water line, we have real problems. So in order to delegate well to people, we've got to create a clear water line that gives them the freedom to go make decisions quickly and to own it and to start being better leaders because they know what's going on. So as a team, we're going to complete this water line that Randy and I have been working on for a while and bring it to you as a document so everybody's on the same page. That understanding and awareness will free you up to go do things quickly and more efficiently because you know what's going on. We also talked about in our meeting that there's a problem getting the story down from the top, from corporate to all the different people, and communication is part of that. And we're going to have a tool that will aid in our communication of understanding what we're all about, how we roll, where we're going, what we're doing, all that good stuff. We're going to create that together. So it's going to be a full day. I need you to get a good night's sleep the night before. Show up fired up and ready to work together. If you have something that you've got hanging out there, get it done before you show up that day so you're not checking your phone or going back out for phone calls. Come and be fully engaged. We've got a lot of work to do, and I really need your help. If you have any questions, you can email me or call me anytime. I'm here to serve. And I look forward to seeing you on August 27th.